You wanna be an angel, you wanna be a star, wanna play some magic on my...
Welcome to Insights. I'm Eric. Thanks for stopping by. We're going to talk about Bitcoin today. I think it's something that we're going to have to review. There's some important developments within the evolution of the trade, not necessarily a change of phase quite yet. We're going to take a look at the three time frames. We're going to take a look at energy, but I think we're going to need to take a look at the reversals. I think that's what the real trigger was today. We're going to keep this open because there's really nothing to go on other than some growing words of caution. And then as we get more information, I'm going to do some closed restricted reviews for subscribers because I don't think there's going to be a bailout necessarily, an easy bailout for Bitcoin. Bitcoin setup is going to require energy. We'll see if that continues. But if it doesn't, we can have a much sharper correction than people are realizing. We're going to talk about that briefly. If we look at the three time frames, we can see them here. Bitcoin is out of alignment. There is no designation triple up. The daily is down. It's been down for 18 days, so this is not new. This is continuation of the correction. The weekly's been up for 43 weeks. Everything looks pretty good. The time is growing. This correction in the daily is really not affecting the weekly yet. And the monthly trend, which has been up for 11 months and has produced a 190% return, still looks good in terms of both the price cycle and the time cycle. This number was a lot bigger, as little as a couple weeks ago. There's a lot of conflicting evidence that's coming across on social media and the news wires. Honestly, it's all garbage. You can tell it's orchestrated to get people to chase their tails. There are some fundamental problems with Bitcoin. I know the crypto community doesn't want to talk about it, but it's an electronic, a digital coin basically, or digital money. But it's being allowed to compete with the dollar because it's serving a purpose, and that purpose is ultimately is going to be a perspective from is control. I know Bitcoin believers think that it's going to be something that's going to end the Fed or end the dollar, but the reality is the purveyors of power enjoy the fact that Bitcoin is fully traceable and there's no privacy to it whatsoever. And once you eliminate cash and physical currency and all the analogs of that and move to something that's completely trackable, it's the completely trackable that allows to get the concepts of 100% or a frictionless tax collection. So these are all concepts that are in the bag. I mean, other people have talked about them. Bitcoin true believers don't want to discuss that, but its movement through the evolution of the trade could reflect some of those ideas. It could reflect some of those weaknesses as well. But for now, the primary trend is up. We're up 190% on that, or it is up. Hopefully everybody has bought the flip. When we're talking about resets now some of these resets that we've had, they're probably getting close to being underwater, or at least the last one that I bought. And I bought the first one that took place after the flip a long time ago. I think it was around this price level. And we're going to have to take a look at this price level. If we look at these price sticks here, we can see Bitcoin Bitcoin's volatile and it hasn't even done all that much. The real concern lies of where the Bitcoin's trading relative to its reversals that the computer is identifying. These red lines reflect reversal zones now that price is below them. We stay closed below 39. This opens the door to testing these reversals down here. There's a short stop and perhaps something will materialize that the computer will recognize around this zone. But as of yet, we don't see any demand zones or supply demand zones there. So theoretically, a deep correction could drop all the way back into here before it moves higher or does whatever it's doing. Again, Bitcoin has fundamental flaws of which I think the world is going to slowly wake up to. And what it boils down to is whether or not people enjoy freedom of movement behind the scenes and privacy, and Bitcoin and other coins are not going to provide that. Perhaps the development of the next generation will do some of that. But again, if you think these coins are going to compete side by side with centralized physical money, digital money, or otherwise, you're kidding yourself without a significant change in the structure of power. So ultimately, we have to go and follow this by the numbers. I mean, then again, this is not something that is a new concept to them. We're going to follow this by the primary trend. Now the primary trend is coming down. I mean, it's not down, but the return is coming down. But you stick with this as long as the weekly trend, and this is still just a minor correction with a lot of amplitude, and that's just how it goes with volatile markets. Friday's going to mark, and that's today, is going to mark the introduction of energy. And as we can see, energy has been building, and so far it has no response to that. It was surprising last week, and we're going to see whether that energy build continues here. I mean, it doesn't reflect it in terms of the price decline. It may not reflect it until next week, but subscribers are going to be talking about this and watching this closely. We have participation at very low levels. We have DI readings spiking towards 100. DI2 is almost above 60%. That's a lot of energy available, and it's a lot of energy on the bull side. So this is not something, even though we're breaking below these reversal levels, you have to wonder how much is this going to continue down. Again, the contract, the futures and options trading for Bitcoin is not, it's not as long as other markets inside the matrix. It doesn't have the rich history of which the computer can learn the cycles. So it's trying to establish what they are. I think this is a major peak here, or a major push. We're going to watch this more. If this is really accumulation, this thing's going to hit 100. The amount of disinformation that's coming out there, whether they be headlines from the Wall Street Journal, Bloomberg's, or Elon Musk talking out of both sides of his mouth and butt. This guy should no longer, he should have never been trusted in the first place. I don't know why he's achieved hero status. He's clearly doesn't understand the fractal natures of trends and trading. Maybe he has his skills in other things, but he should stick to that. But he can't, because he's obviously knee deep into politics as well. And that's what happens with all this stuff. They become an unreliable source. I think those who follow him, and anything that goes along with it, are probably going to get burned by the outcomes. So in terms of how we're managing this position, yeah, this is down. It could infect the weekly. And really, you don't want to hang around when this either gets old or flips down, but we're not there. So right now we have to exercise some patience that this will find some support in this area, and it's going to come with an energy build. So we're going to have to watch this energy build coming here both this Friday and next Friday. Next Friday would be awfully important, since there was a sharp decline yesterday, and that's not going to show up in Friday's data. If you have any questions about how Bitcoin's moving through the evolution of the trade, or how energy is coming along, how we're going to play this, how the reversals, I mean, a lot of these are all subscribers' questions, but you can answer them when you look at the matrix. The reversal tab is here. We follow the GBTC tracker because of the way it calculates and updates volume. I know people have issues with that, but there's not a lot of standard markers. Here's the problem with Bitcoin. It's now got two reversals above it. It's going to require energy to get through, and it has support that's quite a bit lower. There's other support on the daily, but the week there's a lot of noise here, but the weekly is the most stable, and we can see it here. There's going to be some in this area. They're not as significant. Perhaps the computer will draw some up, but this is not something we don't know yet. But subscribers who follow in the matrix, we use the reversal tab, following here, following the 3 time frames, following the reversals that the computer updates on a daily basis and a weekly basis. All you can do is watch. I mean, we have a lot of cushion, and it's still one of the highest producing returns inside the matrix. We could jump back above the reversal and have it become support once again. But if we get a weekly close below that, the pressure will be down to probe these lower levels for sure. And we're going to have to see energy support that. We've seen it so far, but it has to continue, and it's going to have to continue not only this week, probably next week and the week after that. If it does that for a long enough time, and the energy build and the DI2 gets big enough, the pressure to go down is just not there. And I mean, just because you're citing excessive energy needs for the creation of Bitcoin, that's not what's going to take Bitcoin down. I mean, that's just fool's talk. I mean, I don't even know where that's even a legitimate criticism, other than the fact that there's a lot of people who are weak hands who are easily spooked out of their positions, and I've seen this before in so many markets, from precious metals. A couple years ago, well, actually quite a bit of time, almost 10 years ago, and to commodities, and it will be even commodities today. These are old tactics. It tells me that Elon Musk is not as independent as he looks. He's plugged in now. Someone's talking to him, and honestly, his words should be taken only for entertainment only. The rest of it, if you're following it for anything more than that, well, you're going to get disappointed in the long run. So if you have any questions about what we talked about at the evolution of the trade, subscribers, click these links and read up on it. Let me know. Those will be links under the blog. We can talk about that stuff, or you can leave comments. This stuff is going to have to be played by the book, to know what the book is, you better understand what the evolution of the trade. The evolution of the trade, in a short description, is the study of price, time, and energy cycles, how it flows, and the movement of energy within. It also includes the Bitcoin's pro and public index, but we really didn't talk about that today. It's something that subscribers use. This matrix is a comprehensive approach of managing your position. And when Bitcoin turns sour, yeah, we don't stick around. When is Bitcoin going to turn sour? It's going to turn sour when the primary trend flips down, and that's right here. It hasn't done that yet, but I'm not saying it will. If it does, you exit the position. You could stay if you want, but that's not what the evolution of the trade is all about. So if you have any other questions, let me know. If not, thanks for watching and enjoy your day.